Hey everyone, we're going to go over section 2, and this is the suggested items to include in your LOI. So the first one we think is extremely important. You will want at least one of these items. So that's going to either be the resident ledgers, an Estoppel agreement, or 6 months of certified bank deposits. This is super important because you want to make sure that the income that is on the T3 and the T12 is actually what the income is for the property. So you're also going to want to ask for utility bills for the past 6 months, just because you're going to want to know if there's a leak somewhere in the property that isn't usually there, or if electricity is higher than usual. You're going to want to have to do that deep dive and kind of figure out why. Another item is the 5-year loss runs for insurance, the current insurance policy, the current title commitment, the existing ALTA, which is the land survey, and then you're also going to want existing leases and then digital copies. And what we needed for agency debt was about 1/4 of them, so that's definitely something that you're going to want to ask for.
1/4 of them digitized, that is. I mean, you want to review all of the leases for sure, but you need at least 1/4 of them digitized. In addition to that, you need a current rent roll. So you need a rent roll showing lease rent, lease expiration, and security deposits paid for each specific unit. You also need current and past income and operating expenses for the past 3 years. Every lender is going to want to see the income, the T12 for the past 3 years, leading up to the current day. Additionally, you want to ask for current and past capital expenditures for the past 2 years. That also helps with the lender and when they size the loan in the property to see, okay, what capital expenditures have been put into the property, and then it kind of either increases or reduces the risk profile for the property. Next, you also want to ask for architectural, engineering, and feasibility studies as to the condition of the property, if that's in the owner's possession for sure. And then also, if it's in the owner's possession, you want to ask for environmental reports, specifically phase 1 reports. And then you want to ask for an inventory of personal property using connection with the property that will convey with the property, such as furniture on the property, couches and things like that in the leasing office, computers, things like that. You also next want to ask for real estate tax and insurance bills for at least the previous 2 years. That makes sure that, again, this is like a due diligence thing where you can really match up how much you're paying in taxes and insurance, and make sure that it matches the T12 and what they're reporting on the T12. You also want those active service agreements. If you couldn't get those pre-LOI, then you want to definitely get them during the due diligence. You want to review those contracts and things like that, and make sure that there's a laundry contract on the property, or some other kind of utility or cable package that's in a service agreement. Last couple items here, you want to ask for resident files. In those files, it's going to show employment, credit check, and other things about each resident. And you also might want to consider asking to maintain occupancy at 90%. If it's already stabilized right now, maintaining the occupancy at 90% is critical in order for you to obtain agency debt in closing, because agency requires 90% occupied for at least 90 days. If it takes a dip while you're closing, guess what? You're probably not going to get agency debt. So that wraps up everything you needed to include in an LOI.